Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. Israel has said that its war in Gaza will likely go on for many months. Israel's military chief has said that the army will employ He added that this will continue whether it takes a week or a month. Israel's retaliatory offensive into the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip has killed nearly 21,000 people. This is according to the Gaza Health Ministry. It announced yesterday that a total of 241 people had been killed and 382 injured over the past 24 hours. Internet and telephone services were also cut off in the enclave yesterday. Meanwhile, Israel's defense minister said that its army is now in a multi-front war. He added that the forces have retaliated to attacks from Iraq, Yemen and Iran. Palestinians in central Gaza's Bureij camp have said that they have been forced to leave. This was after the Israeli army warned civilians on Monday to evacuate the area. Reports say 85% of the Gaza Strip's 2.3 million people have been forced to flee their homes. This is since the war began and after the expiration of the recent truce. Gazans injured by Israeli airstrikes in Khan Yunis, including children, were rushed to the Nasser hospital yesterday. Palestinian residents also reported several airstrikes near the hospital in the early hours of the day. Nasser Hospital is the largest medical facility in the southern Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, 2 people were killed and several others were injured in a strike targeting a house in Shabura camp in Rafah. Locals claim that the area that was struck was considered a safe zone by Israel. An explosion occurred near the Israeli embassy in India's capital, New Delhi, last night. No one was killed or injured in the blast. However, officials are still inspecting the area. The Israeli government has said that the explosion may have been a terror attack. It has urged its citizens in India, specifically in New Delhi, to exercise caution. Israel has also issued a travel advisory to its citizens in the country, asking them to avoid going to crowded areas. They've also been urged to be on heightened alert in public places. The Indian Navy will deploy guided missile destroyer ships in the Arabian Sea as a deterrent. The move comes after an Israel-affiliated merchant vessel was attacked off the Indian coast over the weekend. The Indian Navy says it's investigating the nature of the attack on the vessel. On Saturday, the US accused Iran of striking a chemical tanker in the Indian Ocean. Yemen's Houthi rebel group has said that it carried out drone attacks targeting the Israeli port city of Eilat. It has also claimed responsibility for an attack on a commercial vessel in the Red Sea. A Houthi military spokesperson announced this in a televised address. The shipping company has said that there were no injuries to its crew from the attack on its ship. The reported incidents come a week after the US announced an initiative to protect trade in the Red Sea. Senior Hamas official Osama Hamdan accused the US of hypocrisy yesterday. This is for calling for the security of civilians and at the same time supporting the Israeli army. Hamdan added that it makes Biden an accomplice in the crime. He said, and I quote, "We hold him politically and morally responsible." Iraq's government has condemned yesterday's overnight airstrikes on its military positions by the US. Iraq has called it a quote-unquote clear hostile act. Baghdad added that the attack had killed at least 1 serviceman and injured 18 other people. Yesterday, the US carried out airstrikes on 3 facilities used by the Iraq-based Kataib Hezbollah. This was in retaliation for attacks by the Iran-aligned group that injured 3 US troops. Chinese President Xi Jinping has vowed to resolutely prevent anyone from quote-unquote splitting Taiwan from China in any way. Xi's comments come weeks before Taiwan's presidential elections. China views Taiwan as its own territory, however, Taipei rejects Beijing's claims. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has reportedly kicked off a key meeting of the country's ruling party. The days-long assembly of the party and government officials will concentrate on unveiling policy decisions for the coming year. Reports say the officials discussed 6 points on the first day of the meeting yesterday. This included this year's policy and budget implementation. Japan has cleared the path for the world's biggest nuclear plant to restart operations. An operational ban was imposed on Tokyo Electric Power Company, or TEPCO's, a massive nuclear power plant 2 years ago. This was after the Fukushima disaster. TEPCO has been eager to bring the world's largest atomic power plant back online, but a resumption still needs local consent in the Niigata prefecture. Ukraine says it struck a large Russian warship in Crimea with cruise missiles. It added that the overnight attack killed at least one person. Russia confirmed that the ship had been damaged, however, Moscow did not mention what caused the damage. The Turkish Parliament's Foreign Affairs Commission has approved Sweden's NATO membership bid. The commission, controlled by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's ruling party, voted to back the Swedish bid. It marks a key step in expanding NATO. The next step is a vote in the Turkish Parliament's General Assembly. Sweden had applied for NATO membership last year after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Turkey has reportedly hit around 50 targets used by Kurdish rebel groups in Syria. The targets were facilities used for military, economic and logistics purposes by the Kurdish rebels. This comes after 12 Turkish soldiers were killed in Iraq over the weekend. Turkey's defense ministry says that the soldiers were killed while fighting the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, in northern Iraq. In climate news, at least 9 people died after Christmas storms battered Australia's eastern seaboard. Thunderstorms and destructive winds have wreaked havoc in the states of Victoria and Queensland. The Australian government has warned that coastal regions in Queensland were still at risk of dangerous storms, life-threatening floods, giant hail and damaging winds. Parts of northern, eastern and central Germany have been flooded after heavy rain. Areas in the regions of Thuringia and Lower Saxony were badly affected. In Thuringia, homes, fields and streets were submerged due to the floodwaters. Local residents were evacuated from their homes and moved to an emergency shelter. According to the UK's National Trust, the loss of predictable weather patterns is causing chaos for nature. The Trust has warned that climate change is upsetting the regular rhythm of seasons, making plants and wildlife more susceptible to disease. It added that the seasonal baseline shift is disrupting the annual behavior of animals and plants. According to climate change studies, the way in which snow cover in the Alps has had an unprecedented decline over the past 600 years, the duration of the cover is now expected to be shorter by 36 days. This has put the future of Europe's ski resorts in peril. In the French Alps, heavy rainfall delayed the opening of ski resorts at Christmas time, dampening the hopes of the industry and millions of tourists. Several reports warn that a 2 degrees Celsius global heating above pre-industrial levels, more than half of Europe's ski resorts would be at a high risk. Snow and ice blanketed swathes of the U.S. state of Nebraska. A blizzard swept over the state, bringing On to business and tech news. Apple has appealed a decision to ban imports of its smartwatches. The tech giant has also filed an emergency request for the US appeals court to halt the ban. The ban came after a complaint from medical monitoring technology company Masimo. Masimo has accused Apple of hiring away its employees, stealing its pulse oximetry technology, and incorporating it into the popular Apple Watch. Meanwhile, Apple executive Tang Tan, who led the design for the iPhone and Apple Watch, is set to join Lovefrom. Tan will leave Apple in February to work on a new artificial intelligence hardware project at Lovefrom. Lovefrom is a design firm led by Johnny Ive. Ive is also a former Apple executive who left the company in 2019. He's the designer of many iconic Apple products, including the iMac, iPhone, and iPad. Share prices of Chinese tech company Tencent saw a partial rebound today. This was after Chinese regulators softened their stance over tightening rules in the country's gaming sector. Shares in Tencent climbed more than 5% in morning trade. Last week, its stock prices tumbled 12% following the announcement of China's draft gaming rules. The draft rules had reignited fears among investors of another round of sweeping crackdowns by Beijing. Holiday shopping in the US was lower than expected this year. This is according to a report released by MasterCard. In all, retail sales rose 3.1% from November 1st through to December 24th. However, the figure was lower than MasterCard's expectation of a 3.7% rise. The report said consumer spending was believed to be held back by the pressures of inflation and interest rates. Tesla is reportedly planning to roll out a revamped version of its Model Y cars from its Shanghai plant. The new version of the Model Y is expected to have exterior and interior design changes, a new wheel design, and ambient lighting. The report adds that the mass production of the vehicles may start as soon as mid-2024. Code.org, a US-based educational non-profit firm, has filed a lawsuit against India's White Hat Junior. White Hat Junior is a subsidiary of the embattled Indian edtech company Byju's. Code.org has accused White Hat of breaching a licensing contract by failing to pay fees for using its platform. In 2021, White Hat Junior partnered with Code.org. It had agreed to pay $4 million over 4 years to license Code.org's platform. According to a report, Disney Plus, Hotstar, and Reliance's Jio Cinemas are in talks to merge. The move will combine the two direct rivals in the OTT industry. The deal is likely to be finalized by February next year. Israel's government has agreed to give Intel a $3.2 billion grant. This is for a new $25 billion chip plant that Intel plans to build in southern Israel. If it materializes, this will be the largest ever investment by a company in Israel. American media company National Amusements has announced that it was hacked in November last year. National Amusements is the parent company of media giants Paramount and CBS. The conglomerate said that hackers stole the personal information of more than 80,000 people during the data breach. A new report shows hackers stole billions of dollars in crypto assets in 2023. Around $2 billion was stolen in crypto assets across dozens of cyber attacks and thefts. Among the worst crypto thefts of the year include the hack against Euler Finance, where hackers stole almost $200 million. However, crypto thefts showed a downward trend this year. Last year, cybercriminals had reportedly stolen an all-time record of around $3.8 billion in crypto. Moving to sports, let's start with cricket. South African pacer Kagiso Rabada has taken 500 wickets in his international career. The milestone was achieved during the first day of the Test match against India. Rabada took a 5-wicket haul after he dismissed Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer, Ravichandran Ashwin and Shardul Thakur. Australian batter Usman Khawaja wore shoes with the names of his daughters written on them. This was during a test match against Pakistan. Earlier, Khawaja had been barred by the International Cricket Council, or ICC, for writing political messages on his shoes. The ICC has charged Khawaja for wearing a black armband during the first test match against Pakistan. Bangladesh all-rounder Shakib Al Hasan has revealed that he suffers from blurred vision. Shakib says he had reduced visibility in his left eye, which made it difficult to spot the ball while batting. Shakib added that he had blurry vision throughout the recent ODI World Cup. In football, Manchester United beat Aston Villa 3-2 in a thrilling Boxing Day Premier League match. Aston Villa scored both goals in the first half to take a 2-0 lead going into half-time. Then the Red Devils came back with a double from Alejandro Garnacho and a goal from Rasmus Højlund. The win has lifted Manchester United to the 6th position in the Premier League. Liverpool beat Burnley 2-0 in their Premier League Boxing Day match. Darwin Núñez scored in the 6th minute to give Liverpool an early lead. In the 90th minute, Diogo Jota scored for the Reds to seal the win. Liverpool have now reached the top of the points table. In the Saudi Premier League, Al Nassr beat Al Ittihad 5-2 last night. Striker Cristiano Ronaldo scored a double for Al Nassr. He has now become the highest goal scorer this year. Ronaldo now leads the goal-scoring list with 53 goals, trailed by Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe, who have both scored 52 goals each. In tennis, Aryna Sabalenka fought back to beat Ons Jabeur in an exhibition match. Jabeur won the first set 6-4. Then Sabalenka came to win the next two sets 6-3, 6-2. This was a one-of-a-kind exhibition match which was played in Saudi Arabia. The Indian Tennis Association is seeking guidance from the country's sports ministry. This is because India's request to not play the Davis Cup in Pakistan has been declined by the International Tennis Federation. India has nominated 6 players to play the Davis Cup tie against Pakistan, but has raised concerns regarding the security of the players. If India refuses to send its team to Pakistan, the host country will be given a walkover. In basketball, the Detroit Pistons have set a record in the NBA for the most consecutive losses in a single season. This comes after the Brooklyn Nets beat the Detroit Pistons 118-112 last night. The Pistons have now lost 27 games in a row. The previous record for the most consecutive losses in a season belonged to the Philadelphia Sixers, who lost 26 consecutive matches in 2013. Ralf Schumacher, the brother of Formula One legend Michael Schumacher, has given an update on the F1 racer's health. Ralf says that Michael may never recover from the skiing injury he sustained back in 2013. Michael Schumacher has been in a medically induced coma after suffering a head injury while skiing in the French Alps. Doctors say Schumacher is lucky to even have survived the accident. In entertainment news, South Korean actor Lee Sun-kyun, best known for his role in the Oscar-winning film Parasite, was found dead in an apparent suicide. The actor was found inside a vehicle at a park in central Seoul. The 48-year-old actor had been under police investigation over his alleged use of marijuana and other psychoactive drugs. Local news outlets reported that the actor was being dropped from TV and commercial projects following the scandal. Around 60 French actors have denounced what they describe as the lynching of actor Gérard Depardieu. Depardieu has been charged with rape and faces allegations of sexual assault by over a dozen women. An open letter has been signed by British actor Charlotte Rampling, former French First Lady and singer Carla Bruni, and other prominent figures. It claims that Depardieu is a victim of a torrent of hatred. US rapper Kanye West has apologized to the Jewish community after a series of anti-Semitic comments. Kanye's posts and comments against Jewish people have sparked outrage, and they led to the star being dropped from commercial deals and banned from social media. In a statement written in Hebrew on his Instagram page, Kanye apologized for what he called unintended outbursts and said it wasn't his intention to hurt or disrespect anyone. Colombian superstar Shakira's home city of Barranquilla has unveiled a 6.5-meter statue in her honor. The towering bronze and aluminium statue depicts Shakira in one of her characteristic hip-swaying dance moves. The sculpture was unveiled on the banks of the Magdalena River, and the ceremony was attended by Shakira's parents. Singer Mariah Carey and Brian Tanaka have split after 7 years together. In a statement on Instagram, Tanaka, Carey's backup dancer turned creative director and partner, detailed their breakup. He said the amicable separation was a mutual decision as the two navigate separate journeys. Rumors of their split began surfacing online when fans noticed that Tanaka did not join Carey on a recent tour. Love and War singer Tamar Braxton is engaged to Jeremy J.R. Robinson once again after a brief breakup. The singer made the announcement on Instagram saying that their troubles are miles away. Tamar and J.R. started dating on the show Queen's Court. After dating for 7 years, actor Patrick Schwarzenegger proposed to model Abby Champion. The couple announced their engagement with a series of beach photos, posing in front of a heart-shaped arrangement of red roses. The two began dating in March 2016. Comedian Dave Chappelle is ready with his next special called The Dreamer. The preview for the show, releasing on New Year's Eve, is narrated by Morgan Freeman. The Dreamer follows Chappelle's 2021 Netflix special The Closer, which sparked criticism over jokes viewed as transphobic by some LGBTQ+ advocates and artists. It also spurred dozens of Netflix employees to stage a walkout over the controversy. Actor Rob Lowe will host a new trivia TV game show named The Floor in the coming year. The Floor features 81 contestants who face off during trivia quizzes and compete for a $250,000 prize. Speaking about the show, Lowe described it as the best iteration of a trivia game he's ever come across. A documentary about Britain's King Charles III and his coronation has been released. In the clips, Charles is seen interacting with his son and grandchildren at Westminster Abbey. This is at rehearsals ahead of the coronation ceremony that took place in May. Another clip also shows him off-duty, walking around Balmoral with Queen Consort Camilla. The documentary called Charles III: The Coronation Year was screened on Tuesday. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.